Today's topic is hotter than a chili pepper on a summer day. We're diving into the world of Adrian Jackpot Lewis, the man with a throwing arm that can make a dart sing like a pop star on stage. But guess what? It's not about his jaw-dropping 180s or bullseye brilliance today. Nope. We're talking about a curveball that even Jackpot himself probably didn't see coming the day he fired his manager. So what happens when a darting dynamo decides to part ways with the mastermind behind the scenes? Well, grab your popcorn and let's break it down, because Adrian Lewis just played a managerial leg of his own. Now rewind the clock to 2010 when Adrian Lewis was a young darting Padawan, not yet the master we know today. Back then, he was under the wing of the legendary Phil the Power Taylor, who, let's be honest, could probably teach a fish how to ride a bicycle. But life in the darting lane isn't always smooth. Fast forward a bit, and Lewis decides to switch lanes, signing up with Keith Della's sports management. Yeah, the same Della who famously won a world title with a finish that sounds more like a secret code. 138 against Eric Bristow in 1983. It was a match made in darting heaven. Or so they thought. Things went swimmingly for a while. Adrian clinched his first world title in 2011, even throwing a 9-darter in the final. Cue the confetti in celebration, right? Well, not quite. You see, darting success isn't just about the flick of a wrist, it's about the mind games too. Keith Della spilled the beans on how he turned Lewis from a jokely lad into a focused darting machine. Adrian himself admitted how big of a deal Keith was in his darting journey. Picture this, a pre-match ritual that probably involved more strategy talks than a war council in a medieval epic. Keith would stroll up, point out the darting faux pas from the last match, and shout, "Come on lad, step up your game." It's like having your own personal coach, therapist, and hype man rolled into one. And let's not forget the practice room, the hallowed ground where darting legends are forged. There, Keith would swoop in like a darting Yoda, guiding Lewis through the intricacies of the game. The main change Adrian talked about is toning down his energetic walk-on. Lewis decided it was also time for a change of equipment. Out with the old, in with the new. A bit like changing your lucky socks before a big date. Fast forward to defending his world title, reaching finals in the Premier League and European Championship. It seemed like Lewis was on the darting express train. But then, cue the dramatic music, the quarter-final of the 2013 World Championship. Lewis, in a nail-biting deciding set, faced off against the man himself, MVG. Then came the unexpected twist. A few months later, the announcement echoed through the darting halls. The Lewis-Della relationship, the dynamic duo, had split. But feared not, it was an amicable separation, a mutual darting conscious uncoupling. Keith wished Adrian the best for the future, probably with a firm handshake and a "may the darts be ever in your favour." In the Lewis intermission from the Keith era, he didn't just twiddle his darting thumbs. No sir, he went on a spree, winning the European Championship, the UK Open, and reaching finals left and right. Behind the scenes though, a silent reunion was in the works. Della and Lewis, the darting bromance, rekindled at the 2014 Players' Championship finals. But just as you thought the plot twists were over, a public announcement before the 2015 World Championship, they were back together. Della, the wise sage, claimed that former players make the best managers. After all, who understands the stage better than those who've danced on it? Fast forward to 2015, Lewis reaching a singles major final, a showdown with the darting demigod MVG at the Players' Championship finals. Spoiler alert, MVG took the crown, but Lewis wasn't down and out. Then he and Phil Taylor joined forces to conquer the World Cup in 2015, a title they proudly defended in 2016. After the World Cup triumph with Phil Taylor, Lewis kicked off the next chapter by reaching the final of the World Championship at the start of the year. Now keep in mind, he was a pre-tournament 16-1 shot, not exactly the odds you'd bet your house on. In this epic final showdown, Lewis faced off against Gary Anderson, and let me tell you, it was a darting duel for the ages. The odds might not have been in his favour, but Lewis gave it his all. Spoiler alert, Anderson took the crown, but Lewis earned his stripes in that nail-biter of a game. Shortly after this epic clash, the darting world got hit with another announcement. Lewis had inked a 3-year contract extension, keeping Keith Della as his manager until 2020. However, in 2017, he only snagged a single Pro Tour title, and there was a tiff with Jose Justicia at the UK Open qualifier. Now let's fast forward to 2018, and oh boy, it started with a shocker. A round 1 World Championship loss to Kevin Kevin Munch. Yes, the same Kevin Munch who probably framed that dartboard segment. The year didn't get much better, and the highlight was the infamous tussle with Jose Hesia. Then, in the early days of 2019, the darting world witnessed a plot twist. Game on Dart reported that Lewis had cut ties with Keith a year early from the contract's actual date. The darting Twitterverse erupted, with the biggest Lewis fan account echoing the news. Hold your breath, because here where it gets stranger than a triple 20 on the first throw. Keith Deller fired back with a tweet denying the split, calling out fake journalism and demanding apologies. Game on Darts, with a hint of humility, retracted the article, promising better research in the future. In a bizarre turn of events, Lewis tweeted a confirmation that the initial report was in fact true. He terminated the contract with Keith Deller Sports Management from the 22nd of February 2019, and Deller was well aware of it. Keith deleted his tweet faster than a 180 on the scoreboard. Lewis added a curveball, saying any inquiries should be sent directly to him, bypassing Deller. The original report stood true, and Game on Darts boldly re-uploaded the article, promising a tete-a-tete on how to handle Deller's response. But then, like a game of hide and seek, everything went eerily quiet. The darting world was left wondering what had transpired between Lewis and Deller. The details were shrouded in mystery, and the only certainty was that the dynamic darting duo had hit a rocky patch. Fast forward to July 2020, and the darting stage was set again, this time behind closed doors post-lockdown. Lewis was back in action, defeating Danny Noppert in the World Match Play. In a Sky interview, when asked about playing without fans, Lewis dropped a darting bombshell, describing the atmosphere as a Keith Deller exhibition due to the silence. Well, that comment caused ripples in the darting world. A few weeks later, Lewis, perhaps realising he threw a bit of a double bull with that statement, issued a public apology to Deller. He admitted the comments were made in jest, but conceded they were unnecessary and inappropriate. In classic darting fashion, he aimed for a heartfelt apology, expressing regret for any distress caused to Keith, and confirming that they both agreed to move on. In another twist, Deller chimed in, announcing that the dispute had reached its curtain call with a mutually agreed settlement. The duo had employed the services of Sports Resolutions, a dispute mediation service. Though the details remained locked in the darting vault, rumours suggested it was a financial disagreement. Deller, ever the diplomat, stated he always tried to do the best for his managed players and expressed relief that the matter had finally found resolution. Lewis echoed the sentiment, expressing his satisfaction that the dispute chapter had come to a close. The darting drama seemed to be subsiding, at least for the time being. Now fast forward to the present day, and you might be wondering, where in the world is Adrian Lewis? Well, he's taken a bit of a hiatus from the PDC darting scene, with his last appearance dating back to the 13th of March. For many fans, this might ring an alarm, but let's flip the script. Lewis, after weathering some tough years, had shed weight, sounding content, and taking a breather from the darting circuit. Some might see it as a negative, but let's view it through the lens of positivity. The lad is recharging his darting batteries, and who knows, he might emerge from the darting cocoon as a butterfly, ready to conquer the Oki. Anticipation was building for his return, with whispers of a potential comeback at the PDPA Tour Card World Championship qualifier. However, the darting deities had other plans. Just a few days earlier, confirmation hit the darting airwaves that Lewis will be gracing the 30th anniversary world event in London, a theatre nearly 4 hours from the qualifier venue. Don't forget to hit the bullseye, so you never miss out on any of our amazing darts videos. See you next time!